Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about all the new video generative models that have come out and which ones are the best in February 2026. So you got to preface this, mid-February is where we're at, and if you're watching this video in 2027, thanks, but it's changed. So this is for you now, probably for the next until May or June, and then it'd be fun to kind of reevaluate this. So what are the best models out there? I say that with, right now, Kling 3.0 came out, and that's one of the ones we're going to really focus on. But there are others, you know, you have Luma 3.14, we got Runway 4.5, you got Veo 3.1, Sora 2, blah, blah, blah. And then you even have ones like Adobe Firefly, the built-in model for Midjourney. And even things like Vidu Q3, which a lot of people don't use, but we're going to rank them all, with a couple exceptions. We might not do LTX, we might run a video in there, but let's get started. So the first and newest model that has come out is Kling 3, and I have actually not done a lot of work with it, so let's open it up and see what we can do. Oh, Kling 3. You know, you practice these things prior to actually filming, and then it doesn't work, and you're like, what happened, man? Alright, I was supposed to push a button, and it was like going to pop up, but it didn't. So we're going to go to generate. We're not going to do the Omni model, just because we're not. We're going to take this picture, right here. It's of a dragon. He's got these green, like, eyes. It looks pretty cool, right? I think it's a pretty cool little picture. And we're going to animate it. So what do we want to do with it? So we've dropped it in, and we're not going to use native audio on this. I mean, that's a whole different video for a whole different day. Have the dragon fly fast across the water. He spots a fishing boat and breathes fire onto it. The time it is near dusk on a slightly windy day. Zoom in to the dragon's head as he breathes his green fire. Okay, so we're going to use this prompt for every one of them. It is near dusk, so let's read it first. Let's make sure it sounds good. And you know what? Let's go ahead and maybe I sometimes want a smart prompt, but sometimes I don't. Smart prompts is when you take it into ChatGPT, Claude, or something like that, and you tell it, say, hey, this is what I want, make this prompt better. Sometimes it works really well, and you get something that's surprisingly good, actually, in fact. But sometimes you give it too much detail, and it kind of binds out these models and puts too many constraints on it. So I think we're just going to go ahead and just do a basic kind of a, I want to call it a dumb prompt, but maybe not the smartest prompt, right? So let's go ahead and do that. Boom! We've got our first one going. Holy cow, we got a bunch of these we gotta get through. Alright, so now we're gonna go to Higgsfield, and we're gonna generate a bunch, right? So we have this clown, we don't need that clown anymore. Alright, so we're going to drop in our dragon. We're going to paste our prompt. Let's go ahead and do 12 seconds. We'll splurge. 16.9. This all looks pretty good, right? So let's generate it there. That's Sora 2. You know, everybody loves Sora 2, right? So let's see how it actually generates the model. Let's try Grok Imagine, 15 seconds, right? I think that's a good option. Also, a relatively new model, right? It's not been out that long, so Seedance Pro 1.5 or Seedance 1.5 Pro. The rumor is that 2.0 is coming out pretty soon. And it's supposed to be fantastic. So definitely interested in seeing what that looks like. Alright, so we're going to generate that. In Seedance, what else? WAN 2.6. Sure, why not? WAN or WAN. We'll do Veo 3.1. And I want to warn you, there is a chance that my scoring is not going to actually line up with this particular result. We're gonna use this result as kind of like just to kind of show you. But for some of these models, I have quite a bit of experience with them. So if we get a bad result, I'm not going to say, Kling, you're terrible. You're going to D. No. So we're going to put a little filtering on it too, just to make sure that we don't accidentally destroy one of the Minimax Hailou. I don't even think I have this on my thing, but we'll try it anyway. Alright. So we've got that. Now we're also going to go to our friends here at Runway. Boom. And we're going to do Luma. I can't believe this thing's not working. Purposely waited to do this video until I set up my BSD right here. This is it's a macro key, so everything on it's built in, so I can just push the button and it pops up. And I've been using it all day, and now it's not working. No, Luma AI, not Kling. Yeah, so I was supposed to just push a button and it was going to open. It's a fantastic device, the macro. It is. In the meantime, we're going to go over here to this computer. I'm going to log in. Okay. Back to here. Alright, so we're going to drop our image. And we're going to look at all these here in a second, right? So it's going to take a minute. But we're going to get them all going. Alright, and I think I even got a LTX. This is from my last video where I said learn how to do a thumbnail. That was not a great picture of me. Sorry about that. Alright, and we're going to do LTX2 Pro. Alright, I think that we've got... Do we have Vidu? We do not have Vidu. We did Vidu dot. That was a terrible joke, I'm sorry. Alright, so now we're going to do Vidu. We're going to go over here real quick. So I'd like to let you guys watch me like log in, but I trust most of you, but like there's a couple of you I probably don't trust. I don't know who you are, but I know that it's not a great idea to just openly trust everyone with passwords. Sorry. Alright. Back to this. Boom. And we're going to put our frame in. The dude's pretty fast. So this is the new Q3 model, which I think is fantastic. We can do an H.265. Somebody asked me why I rendered some in 265. Apparently I've got a computer that doesn't recognize 265, and so it didn't give me the option to do that. So that makes sense. Alright, let's go back. Kling, how you doing? Not done. Still working on it. 6 minutes left. So that's one thing I have noticed about Kling 3. It's slow. It's not the fastest model here. Let's drop it to 2.5 and you're going to see it be like kick out. It's heartbeat. So look at 2 minutes versus 2.6. It's also way fewer credits. And 2.5 is a really good model. I mean, when we score this, I'll show you where 2.5 would fit. Alright, so let's go. Almost all of these are done. Holy cow. So here is Sora, right? Alright, there's a fishing boat. Misses it. The green, oh, now it's on fire. Here's this, I like the mouth shot here. So here it comes in. Doesn't actually breathe the fire on it. It's like psych, but it catches on fire anyway. I like the face animation here. Now, one of the things I struggle with Sora, and there's probably sound on here that we're not playing, is that it has kind of a soft look, right? So right here, it actually looks pretty good. But if you look on these, as we go out, blow out on here, these edges are very kind of soft. And so that is Sora. Now let's try Grok. Alright, the green is kind of coming out of his eye. Here's the fishing boat. It's empty. Oh, he's breathing green flames. Okay, that's what we actually asked it to do. Fishing boat spontaneously ignites, as does the water. So we've got some like reality things that are going on. Wait a minute, I think the wing actually is going through the boat. Yeah, we got some hallucinations going on here, don't we? Zooming in on the face. I like the eyes. Definitely has a good look. And I think we could probably play around with it and get this to be correct. I think that's a good result. I like that. Alright, now we're with Seedance Pro. Now Seedance is one of those like risk-reward type things. Sometimes it works great, sometimes it doesn't. So he's in the water. That's a different thing. He's running in the water. Here's the fishing boat. He comes up on it. He's way bigger. Green flames. It actually hits the boat. Alright, again, you get a bit of a fuzzy, softer look on it with Seedance Pro 1.5. The fishing boat doesn't actually ever catch on fire. Hey, you know what though? Honestly, I think that's the best of the three. I wish he was flying through the air. Alright, so now is Wan. I always get it wrong. Let's see how it looks. So right off the bat, he breathes some fire, right? Red. Alright, the boat's kind of in the background. Zooming in on his face like we asked. Green flames. Got a little frame rate thing going on. There it catches on fire. Whole different look, right? So it went from like this full realistic look, and now we're kind of more in just like a standard animation. The wings are like going into the water. So again, there's some kind of temporal type reality things happening. It caught fire green. So this isn't really a usable result because the wing is going below the ground. Don't really like the way the flame is, but again, you know, this isn't the worst thing I've ever seen. Veo 3.1. Now Veo doesn't handle motion super well, in my opinion, but it does handle a lot of this other stuff. So he's on the water. Nice zoom in. Pretty cinematic. Only 8 seconds, one thing. You got people on the boat. Definitely you see the nets of the fishing boat. Right? Let's see if there's any kind of... He hits the top of the water. I don't see anything going through anything. He's not hitting the boat and not going through the boat. But he's not actually pushing the flames to the boat. I still think that's probably the best one. Alright, so now we are Minimax 2.3. I haven't spent a lot of time with it. Alright, so it's kind of a slow motion. Kind of looks more like he's got bad breath, I guess. And it's only 5 seconds, so that was probably my fault. There is a fishing boat in the background. So he's just kind of hovering there, right? Let's look at Runway. Oh, I forgot to hit generate. Let's do 10 seconds, dude. This is going to take forever. Oh my gosh, people. I messed up. Alright, so let's look at Vidu. Okay, so one thing you see right away is this is quick, right? This is quick motion. The wing hits the water, it splashes. Here comes a fishing boat. He aims toward the boat, and it kind of vanishes. I don't see the splash of the water. It has a little bit of a softer and even some pixelation on it. So, Vidu Q3 just came out, like, I don't know, maybe 2-3 weeks ago. I've done a video on it. You can check that out. It's just kind of amazing how fast it's improved. Alright, yeah, that's good. Alright, now let's look at Luma. This is the newest model. Whoa, what the heck's going on here? The fishing boat's on fire. Oh, it's only a 5-second flip. I think we added too much stuff for Luma to do it. Don't know why. Is the flame coming out of his mouth and trailing him? Or is it like, nope, it's exiting his rear end. I knew some friends that did that in college, you know, with a lighter and some baked bean. We'll get into that later, but yeah, okay. That is definitely a more disappointing result than I expected. All right, LTX. So the dragon's turning around. Hello. Firing this green flame. So this is LTX2. You can extend it. I like the boat. I don't really know what the dragon is flying into. Nothing looks like it's going through anything. The motion of that flame doesn't look real natural. It's kind of... Alright, Kling. Alright, here's 3. Alright, so immediately you've got some speed going. Right on the boat. Zoom right in. It followed it perfectly. Alright, he does get a little animated. I mean, folks, I don't really know how much more we can expect, right? This is good. This is a top result. Absolutely. Now let's go to 2.5, their model from 4 months ago. Alright, so it's not quite as clean as the 3. The wings going in the water, it's still pretty good. It's amazing. Like I said, it's pretty amazing. So the 3, look at that. The motion of that flying is fantastic. Like, look, he's firing that green flame. That doesn't look like... The other ones that kind of look like he just was... It was emitting, like a light or something. This has like a violence to it that I think it's fantastic. It's the best, right? Alright, so let's see how close Runway is coming. 45%. Oh, I know I was going to show you. So the other 2 platforms we're going to do. Really disappointed that this isn't working. It was Adobe. I think at one point I'm going to do a video on Adobe itself and how I think it's kind of going obsolete. And I'll give you a hint. When I just went here, right? I just went to Adobe Firefly. Their first option was Veo, was Google. All these options, and I'm glad that you have them, but there are other models. Let's see if we can even... Alright, so let's paste that in. Alright, so it's generating. We're also going to try Pika, because why not? And Midjourney. Alright, so let's go to Pika. We're going to drop this in, try to at least. Make sure we're in 2.5, we are. We're going to go to Midjourney. Okay. And we're going to take this right here. Let's see if it'll let me do a video. We're going to do high motion. Why not? Alright, so it's going to do 4. Alright, so let's go to Pika, see if Pika's done. Pika's not done. High demand. Alright, here's Adobe Firefly. Boat's already on fire. The motion of the dragon is not, the wings aren't flying, not flapping. I think we can pretty safely say this is the worst, right? I mean, do we have to debate that? We don't, do we? I mean, this is the worst result. I know there's some Adobe fanboys out there, fangirls out there. I know you love your Adobe, but that ain't it, man. That ain't it. Alright, so here's Midjourney. It's getting there. We're going to go back to Runway. It looks like Runway is done. Here's Runway 4.5. Oh, it went through the ground. Here's the dragon. I like the look. He's definitely got a snarl to him, the fire. Looks like the ship just caught on fire spontaneously. Now, when Runway 4.5 kind of came out, you know, it was hailed as the best. Like, this is it. This is the bomb. This is the best model you could ever think of. And I don't necessarily think the results line up with that. Alright, let's try Pika. Pika is not here yet. So we can go back. So here's the Sora. And Sora's given us all these different split scenes too, right? Which is kind of cool. I wonder if this boat stays consistent, this little fishing boat. So, right there, it looks something like out of Jaws, right? That looks real. Yeah, I think it stays pretty consistent. Grok has the facial features. The wings are moving. Seedance. He like skids across the water, doesn't he? The motion's definitely pretty mechanical on it, not smooth. Which is surprising. Seedance usually does a pretty good job with motion. Alright. Pika. Pika! You gotta do it, man! And this is 100 credits, right? That was 100 credits. Sometimes if you reload, it'll... Nope, it ain't gonna work like that. So we're gonna wait for the Midjourney, then we're gonna go over our results. So in the meantime, got people, one of the things I would like to explain is this video is sponsored by no one. If you look down below, you'll see the affiliate links. No, you won't. There's no affiliate links on here. I'm doing this just to provide information. So this is my opinion, completely unvarnished, completely devoid of any promotion, right? So I think that's good. If you want an unbiased ranking, this is it. I use these tools pretty much every day, and so this is what I think. So Midjourney gave us 3. So it shoots by. He kind of hovered, now he's flying. Flames coming out of his mouth. Kind of ignored the whole fishing boat, didn't it? But we did get 4 results. Now, I will also say that this kind of is in the sweet spot for Midjourney. If you want ultra realism, it's not for you. If you're trying to do something that's more of a high art, or, you know, kind of artistic, Midjourney is definitely more geared for that and less geared for realism. So this is kind of in its sweet spot. And frankly, it's probably one of the best results I've ever seen from Midjourney. Pika. Alright, Pika, you lost your chance. No Pika for you. So let's look at these tiers. So in the S tier, I've got Kling 3. I think we saw that with the performance, right? It did really, really good. I've got Luma 3.14. The results here for Luma were not spectacular. I'm going to be honest. This was not what I was hoping for. I thought it was going to be better. I thought I saved it, but apparently it's gone. I closed the window already. Alright, so Luma 3.14, I've had a lot of good results with it. And to me, it's a very close cousin to Veo 3.1. In fact, I'd probably have it just a little bit higher. Those are all three of those, in my opinion, are workhorse models. If you're going to look to subscribe to one, look at one of those three. I think Kling has the most capabilities throughout in terms of avatars and lip syncing and motion control. It's pretty good, and they're moving really fast. So I think Kling is the best overall platform to have a subscription. Luma is a little bit more limited in terms of the credits and how it works, but it still can be used as a workhorse. I really do like the upgrade from Luma 3 to 3.14 is very real and is very substantial. Veo 3.1, I think again, I'm ready for them to upgrade to Veo 4, 3.5, or whatever. It's starting to show a little age, I think, but it's not bad, right? Again, it's a workhorse model, in my opinion. Alright, so now let's go to the S and B tiers. Alright, so these are the B tiers. Again, these are, in my opinion, they're definitely very usable. Maybe not workhorses and such, meaning that you're going to get an occasional hero shot out of it. If you can't get one of these top tier models to do something correctly, for some reason it's got some sort of mental glitch in it. These right here, they don't work 100% of the time, but you're going to get good results. Runway 4.5, I think it is a little overrated. Same thing with Sora. But if you're looking, again, just for an occasional, I've got to get this shot right, throw it in those models, and you can definitely be surprised and get good results. I think Vidu Q3 almost should go up into this S tier. If I was going to move one of these up, it would actually be Vidu Q3. It doesn't work great for all motion, but if you're looking for tight shots and things like that, you're looking for facial features, you're looking for realistic dogs and birds and animals, it's good. It really is. It's surprising. I use it pretty extensively. Seedance 1.5 Pro, kind of in the same thing. It's with Runway and Sora. If you're trying to find a multi-shot or something, and you really want a sequence with it, I think it works great. But it's not really for me. It's something I use consistently. There'll be projects where there are definitely projects where I won't use Runway, Sora, or Seedance, or Grok at all. But for almost every project, I use this S tier. And frankly, probably Vidu as well. So that gives us the C tier. WAN 2.6, occasionally I'll use it. If there's something that I'm really struggling with, I'll throw it in there to see if, maybe it hits a home run. And I don't even know how to say it, Hailou. I might even spell it wrong. It's kind of the same thing with it too, but even less. Very rarely do I throw anything in it. Pika, kind of the same thing. Let's see if it's actually generated the image, which is crazy because it's known for its speed, and it's not making it. Let's just reprompt it. Kind of disappointed it hasn't come out. All right. And then that gives us the D tier. I actually kind of feel a little bad because I put Midjourney in there. Those results were, in my opinion, probably the best results I've ever seen. My issue with the D tier is I've never actually got a result that I could use. So if I'm working on a project, you know, I'll start with this top tier. I'll run the prompts, and about probably 80% of the time, one of the clips from one of those is what I use. And then if they're struggling, or if, like I know there's something that these B tiers do better, I'll run it too. Like if I need a sequence shot, I'll almost always run it in Seedance 1.5 or in Vidu if I need a real tight shot. So the B tiers are pretty frequently used. I don't use Sora 2 very much, but I could. The C tier is kind of like the Hail Mary. I don't know how else to put it. A lot of times I'll use WAN 2.6 if I put something in Sora 2, and for whatever reason Sora 2 just the guardrails are too tight. And then finally the D tier, and the D tier is the ones I really don't even think about trying to use because they just don't usually work. So they're almost an afterthought at this point. Adobe Firefly, and the Adobe Firefly for imaging just isn't acceptable. Midjourney I think is probably a little bit better, but you get a lot of weird artifacts and a lot of weird hallucinations, which is great if you're trying to do something truly artistic, I guess, and you have a concept idea and you want it to elaborate on it. But if you know what you want, you know the results that you need, Midjourney just seems to be frustrating for me, both for images and for video. So before we conclude, we're going to see if Pika has actually made it. No, it has not. So we're going to look at this dog prompt that I did. It's a golden retriever to sit in the bed. And it's pretty good. So the issue with Pika on it would be that you get some kind of granular textures. It's not really smooth. It doesn't feather in. It definitely has kind of a consistency issue with it. Like if you look on the hair on the dog. But that's me kind of nitpicking. So tell me, what are your opinions? Which ones of these do you like? Hey, you really messed that up. You gotta have something better. Like Sora 2 is truly a workhorse. Or like, are you nuts? How could you put Luma in your top tier? Those are just my rankings. And again, the dragon video I did isn't fully representative. This is just to give you an idea of these different models. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. You really, in order to evaluate one properly, you probably need to do about 30 videos in it to get a good feel for the true capabilities. So if you have any questions or comments, let me know, and I'll